Thank you for visiting the Combs-Waterkotte website and our Probation Violation Defense Lawyer in Missouri website page. Regardless of the crime, we believe everyone is entitled to the best possible legal defense in the state of Missouri. We have created this audio version of our website page to help you better understand our services and protect your future, freedom, and reputation. If you have been charged with a probation violation in the state of Missouri, we can help. Don't face the state and court system alone during your probation violation charge. Contact one of our Missouri Probation Violation Defense Lawyers today at 314-900-HELP to protect your rights and future. Combs-Waterkotte is committed to handling all probation violation defense cases with confidential care and understanding. We are not here to judge you. We believe that everyone in Missouri, regardless of the crime they have been charged with, deserves an aggressive legal defense and to have their legal rights protected. With that being said, let's discuss hiring our probation violation defense lawyers in Missouri and setting up a free consultation with our attorneys. Probation Violation Defense Lawyer in Missouri. Combs-Waterkotte are the leading probation violation defense lawyers serving St. Louis and the entire state of Missouri. Our criminal defense attorneys will fight for your freedom, your rights, and will not give up until you get fair justice. Our exceptional record and over 370 reviews speaks for itself. Probation Violations Lawyer in St. Louis. If you have recently violated the terms of your probation or parole, it is entirely possible that this violation may result in you going to jail. Anyone who has recently broken probation or parole in St. Louis or elsewhere in Missouri should call an experienced probation violation lawyer as soon as possible. You don't have to go through this alone. Contact one of our defense lawyers today at 314-900-HELP to protect your freedom. The sooner you contact the skilled probation attorneys at Combs-Waterkotte, the better off your results will be. No matter what caused your violation, Combs-Waterkotte is here to help. We are devoted to delivering a positive outcome for our clients in St. Louis and throughout Missouri. Our legal team explores any and all opportunities to secure one and works diligently to protect you and your family. Our skilled St. Louis criminal defense lawyers have decades of experience handling probation violations just like yours. We can communicate with prosecutors and judges regarding your particular situation and work to limit the consequences of your probation or parole violation. Be proactive and don't put your future at risk. Contact us today for a free consultation and safeguard your rights and your future. Why probation violations are not uncommon in Missouri. The Missouri area has seen an increase in the number of probation violations it deals with annually. More often than not, the conditions of someone's probation are designed to be very difficult to adhere to. For instance, the drug court program requirements in the city of St. Louis require you to call a daily hotline to see if you need to be drug tested. And there's only one location downtown where you can submit a sample. It's also easy to associate with someone not knowing they have been convicted of a crime, and some emergencies may take us out of state before we can ask permission. Of course, in other cases, you may have simply made an error in judgment. Whatever the circumstances of your probation violation in St. Louis or elsewhere in Missouri, Combs-Waterkotte is ready and willing to give you dedicated advocacy and zealous representation. What happens if I violate my probation in St. Louis or elsewhere in Missouri? If you violate your probation in Missouri or are accused of violating your probation, your parole officer will file a probation violation report in the court in which you were originally sentenced. Then, either through a warrant for your arrest or notification of a hearing date, you will be called to court. You will have both a preliminary hearing and revocation hearing What happens in a preliminary hearing? Is informal. You generally will not be allowed to bring your Waterkotte attorney with you. You can either request one or waive your right to one. You still have the right to call witnesses and cross-examine state witness. The hearing officer will decide if there is probable cause sufficient enough to charge you and proceed to the revocation hearing. What is a revocation hearing? A formal hearing. You can, and absolutely should, have your Waterkotte attorney by your side. A judge will determine if a violation occurred, and what, if any, the consequences will be. The judge simply needs to be reasonably satisfied that the alleged violation took place. Different from a criminal trial in that the prosecution doesn't need to prove your violation beyond a reasonable doubt. And you do not have a right to a jury trial. What happens after the revocation? Hearing. Generally, you and your St. Louis criminal defense attorney have two different options for how to handle the probation revocation hearing. Refute the violation. This is akin to pleading not guilty. Through witnesses and other evidence, you can explain that the violation did not occur or that the violation had nothing to do with you. For example, a crime was committed in your presence, but you had no involvement or knowledge of it beforehand, or a firearm in a car was not yours, and you didn't know it was there. Admit the violation. As is the case in many criminal proceedings, if the evidence is stacked against you, it may be best to admit the violation and have your attorney convince the judge to give you a warning or lesser punishment in return for your honesty. Through your lawyer, you can explain any mitigating circumstances that led to the violation. For example, a family emergency or sudden death in the family forced you to go out of state, or you were in a car accident and were unable to make an appointment or drug testing. Probation laws in St. Louis and Missouri. Missouri probation laws are strict. Under Missouri Code Regulations Title 14, Section 80-3.010, when agreeing to probation, you must agree to obey all laws and notify your parole officer within 48 hours of any arrest. Obtain advance permission before leaving the state or area where you are living. Obtain advance permission before changing your residency. Maintain employment or participate in a program approved by your parole officer. Obtain advance permission before quitting or changing jobs or the program. Obtain advance permission before associating with anyone convicted of a felony or misdemeanor, or who is also under probation. Not use any drugs, unless prescribed by a physician, and undergo consistent drug testing. Not own, possess, sell, or transport any firearms or other dangerous weapons. Report to your parole officer and complete any supervision strategy as directed. Pay a monthly fee as calculated under Missouri Revised Statute Section 217.690. You also need to show up to your mandated meetings with your probation officer. How to avoid probation violations in St. Louis and throughout Missouri. When a Waterkotte client is given probation for their case, we stress the importance of meeting with their probation officer and getting all terms in writing. This way, they know exactly what they are obligated to do as per their agreement with the judge and court that took their case. We have found that many clients who come to us, having had probation violations, were entirely unaware of the probation stipulation they have violated. Knowing the conditions of your probation from day one is the easiest way to avoid violating it. It is also important to go straight and avoid any additional charges or contact with law enforcement during your probation period. If you can show the court that you have made a legitimate effort to reform your behavior, there's a possibility you could get an early termination of your probation. Our firm has helped multiple clients go through the early termination process and fully regain their rights and freedom. What are the consequences of violating my probation in Missouri? Under Missouri Revised Statute, Section 559.036, the court may revoke your probation any time it chooses. There are a few things that may happen if a judge finds you violated your probation. You may receive a formal warning and be allowed to continue your probation as long as you do not commit further violations. A judge may extend the period of your probation and/or add additional terms. You may be sent to a halfway house or other intervention program. If your probation was a suspended imposition of sentence, SIS, meaning you were not convicted of a crime but accepted probation as a lesser punishment to a potential conviction, the judge can impose up to the maximum penalty of the original charge. If your probation was a suspended execution of sentence, SES, that means you were convicted but offered probation as a chance to avoid jail or prison time. After a probation violation, a judge may then impose the original sentence. Your chances of being sent to jail or prison are much greater without a criminal defense lawyer by your side. The probation violation attorneys of Combs Waterkotte know how to work a courtroom and get the best possible results for their St. Louis and Missouri clients. Contact an experienced St. Louis, Missouri probation violation attorney. We understand that many people on probation are either unable or unwilling to meet the difficult conditions of their probation. If you have violated probation, even through no fault of your own, you should know that you do not have to go through the process of dealing with your violation alone. Combs Waterkotte has helped many clients across the St. Louis area and throughout Missouri lessen the impact of probation violations on their record, or even have their probation period ended early. Call us today at 314-900-HELP or contact us today for a free confidential case review.